Flash marriage, sweet pet, vest, entertainment circle, master of human husband feeling. Internet celebrity Qin Zhiyue found a fan to flash marry in order to fulfill her grandmother's last wish. This fan is an ordinary delivery person who earns 20,000 yuan per month and is very kind to her. She is responsible for her 3 meals a day and is a typical husband. Unexpectedly, one day she discovered that he was not just a delivery man, but a hidden boss. The hidden boss has 3 younger sisters, among which the second sister, Zhuyin, is an international singer queen and also her own idolMagical. The idol singer I have loved since childhood is actually my husband's younger sister. Chapter 1. Marriage by Borrowing Individuals. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Cousin, grandma is not doing well again. Qin Zhiyue had just opened her device for live streaming when she received a message on her phone. Her smile instantly disappeared and her face became ugly. And the fans in the live broadcast room finally squatted down to their favorite anchors, enthusiastically discussing while giving tips. My wife rewards the anchor 99 fish balls. Super Saiyan rewards anchor 199 golden beans. Oh Rabbit rewards anchor 399 harpoons. Reward anchor 99 rockets, 99 ships, 99 pink castles. You are 1 minute late again, and I will punish you as my wife, boss is playing steadily again. Wow, today is the Heroes Month, it's so beautiful, senior sister of the immortal sect, I love you. Are you going to sing a song with the theme of immortal heroes today? Those TV dramas didn't invite you to sing the theme song, it's their loss. What's wrong with Sister You? Who sent you a message? On the live broadcast screen, Qin Zhiyue was dressed in a light blue ancient costume, with long hair half draped and fixed by a hairpin, exuding an ethereal aura. She had a bright and atmospheric appearance, and with such attire, she was like a senior sister who emerged from a cultivation novel. Fans have been licking their faces and are still looking forward to her singing. But some sharp-eyed fans also noticed something was wrong. Qin Zhiyue's gaze withdrew from the phone interface, taking a deep breath to suppress her worries. I'm really sorry, maybe we can't live today, said the fans in the live broadcast room with a sorry smile as he spoke. He removed his antique ornaments from his body. Qin Zhiyue is a well-known singing anchor on the Moyu live streaming platform. Every time she broadcasts, she plays a similar role and covers songs of the same style. I live stream and sing every day, and during breaks, I connect with others to do some work. But now it's only been live streaming for less than 2 minutes and you're saying it's not going to be broadcasted anymore. Fans are so angry, gift after gift, trying to keep people behind. Don't do this, Sister You. No, you're so good looking, Sister You. Why do you say you're not broadcasting? Don't leave, my sister. You are my only sister. How can I live without you? You is so dedicated, broadcasting every day for more than 10 hours each time. Now that it suddenly stops broadcasting, something important must have happened. Yes, family members, don't worry, we'll wait, don't brush gifts, babies. Qin Zhiyue had already taken off all her hair accessories, draped her long curly hair over her, and tied it into a ball-shaped head, with a sharp expression in her every move. My grandmother is sick and needs to go home. Don't waste your money on gifts. Alright, I'll go now. I'll explain the details on Weibo. She quickly turned off the device, changed into simple clothes, packed her luggage, and didn't forget to take care of her rabbit with her neighbors before leaving. Sitting on the taxi at the station, Qin Zhiyue sent a message to her cousin Zhou Ting. How is grandma now? Has she been hospitalized? What does the doctor say? Has Qin Tianxiu and his team paid for grandma to go to the hospital? Qin Zhiyue's cold makeup had not yet been removed, and her appearance was stunning and bright, like a fairy descending from the sky. The driver has peeked at her from the rearview mirror several times. She didn't care either, took out the makeup remover from her makeup bag and sat in the car to remove her makeup. Wait for her to finish processing before there is a reply to the message. Cousin, you also know that grandma is having an old problem. She's lying in bed feeling uncomfortable. I'm only in junior high school, and my parents are working out of town. After receiving the news, they have already taken leave. Now I don't know what to do. Grandma, isn't she really going to have any problems, right? Sorry, cousin, uncles, aunts, etc. They said grandma only has one last breath left. Being hospitalized is too expensive and they want to pay you out. They said that since you eat and drink spicy food in big cities, you must have received a lot of money from wild men. I know they are all spreading rumors. I'm sorry, cousin, I don't know what to do. The uncles and aunts mentioned by Zhou Ting are Qin Zhiyue and Su Yuling, the parents of Qin Zhiyue. After severing ties back then, she never called those two parents again. Qin Zhiyue's eyes were icy cold. I transferred money to Qin Zhiyue's account and then replied to Zhou Ting. Got it, please help me tell Qin Zhiyue that I transferred 50,000 yuan to him. I will immediately have an ambulance take my grandmother to the hospital, and I will pay for the other expenses when I come back. Zhou Ting. Good cousin. One more thing, my cousin and grandmother said, her greatest wish is to see you get married and find a reliable man to take care of you before she dies. Qin Zhiyue's eyes turned red and she struggled to hold back her tears. In the feudal era of her grandmother, the most important destination for women was to find a good man to marry and start a family. She knew that her grandmother's perception would not change, and this was because her grandmother was using her own way to care for her. At the age of 6, Qin Zhiyue's parents finally gave birth to a son. Since then, her parents have had a worse attitude towards her, thinking that she is a loser and not as good as her son, and they have never cared about her again. That winter was very cold, and she was both hungry and cold. She was hiding in a corner wearing a moldy old cotton jacket and crying loudly. Her parents didn't give her a single glance, and she happily circled around her son. It was her grandmother who discovered her little pitiful and raised her by her side. At the age of 13, parents gave birth to a younger brother. They said that their eldest son wanted to attend the best kindergarten in Qiushui town, and their youngest son wanted the best milk powder. The family had no money, so they asked Qin Zhiyue to drop out of school and work for his younger brothers. No matter how her parents beat or scold her, she firmly refused. In the end, her grandmother came out to settle the matter and gave most of her retirement pension to her parents, with a small portion used to support her continued education. When I graduated from college and started working, live streaming became popular. Qin Zhiyue worked during the day and broadcasted at night. In the past 2 years, she has gained a small reputation for live streaming, so she quit her job and focused on live streaming. She wanted to take care of her grandmother by her side, but her grandmother refused to leave the place full of memories with her grandfather. She could only frequently give money to her grandmother. But to my surprise, my parents always try their best to get rid of my grandmother's bank card, take the money from it without authorization to gamble, or buy snacks and toys for her 2 younger brothers, without taking care of my grandmother. At most, they just buy the cheapest health products for her. Qin Zhiyue was extremely angry. She had no choice but to move from the big city to a place very close to home, live streaming for more than 10 hours every day, working hard to make money, and whenever she had time, she would go home to see her grandmother. Watching the warm sunshine outside the car window and the people coming and going, Qin Zhiyue silently prayed in her heart. Grandma, you must not have anything to do. Thinking of her grandmother's wish, she quickly took out her phone and explained on Weibo that her grandmother was seriously ill and might have stopped broadcasting recently. Then send a WeChat message to my best friend. Yao Yao, can you lend me your brother to get married? Chapter 2. She blacklisted the CEO. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiang Yao's message quickly came back. What's wrong with Grandma Qin again? Is it serious? If you're short of money, tell me I have a lot of savings. Xiang Yao is clear about the situation of Grandma Qin Zhiyue. Before, her brother also cooperated very well to help play Qin Zhiyue's boyfriend, making Grandma feel at ease. But now Xiang Yao. My brother got married last year, and you still came to attend the wedding. Qin Zhiyue was worried about her grandmother and panicked, almost forgetting about it. I'm sorry Yao Yao, I really forgot, but now I don't know what to do. From childhood to adulthood, her parents always spoke ill of Qin Zhiyue to the public, and most people in the town didn't like her, so she had no friends. Xiang Yao was still the only friend she made when she came to work in a big city. Besides this friend, she really doesn't know who to turn to for help. Xiang Yao sent a touching emoji. It's okay, don't you have many fans? I see they support you so much, why don't you ask if there's any good way? If there's anything trustworthy among your fans, maybe you can spend some money to get them to help get married. This is a good idea. Qin Zhiyue has a good temper and gets along well with her fans, who are very protective of her. She opened a Weibo fan group. At this point, the number of messages in the group had already exceeded 99 plus. Everyone is concerned about her, and many people are praying for her. Qin Zhiyue was moved and sent many thank you facial expressions. I am on my way back to my hometown, I have read all your messages, thank you for your concern. Fans watched her bubble and brush more vigorously. Qin Zhiyue organized some language and decided to speak up about her own affairs. To Xiaoye. My grandmother's only wish is for me to find a reliable man to get married, but I have been busy with my career for the past few years and have no boyfriend. Do you think it's feasible for me to rent a boyfriend online to obtain a certificate? I love you. Woo-woo, sister you is too filial. Brain kicked by a donkey. Is it unreliable? You are a small internet celebrity on the fishing platform, with at least 100,000 fans. What if someone cheats you? Qin Zhiyue. If it's just a boyfriend, that's okay. I rented 8 of them at the same time before, each with a beautiful appearance, a hot figure, and a special ability to play, but obtaining a certificate. Forget it. You my wife. Yu Jie marries me. I will go to coal country for sex immediately. Love, Qin Zhiyue. When is it? Don't be joking upstairs, you. You need to be careful. Although this is a fan group, there may be some gangsters joining in. Don't be deceived. I love you. Woo-woo, my brother is only a freshman in high school and still a school grass, otherwise I will definitely pack him up and give him to Yu Jie. Just as the group was bustling, some people secretly messaged Qin Zhiyue with words of comfort. She casually flipped through the group and was about to continue watching, only to find a strange account texting her. Get married and find me. The other person's nickname only has 1 period, and their profile picture is completely black. Qin Zhiyue. Did a scammer really come knocking on your door? Qin Zhiyue opened the other party's Weibo account and found it to be a new one with no content. She only followed her and had never interacted with her before. It seems that she is really a scammer. She decisively blacklisted people. At this moment, in a luxurious office in Haicheng. Her slender and fair fingers were tapping on the keyboard of her phone. On the sleeves of a pure black suit, there are hibiscus patterns embroidered with silver thread, revealing a valuable temperament. But at this moment, his face was not gentle, but rather gloomy. On the mobile interface, there is a Weibo with a period nickname and a black avatar. Where is it? Unfortunately, the second message was not successfully sent, indicating that he was blocked by the other party. The CEO next to Jiang Nan is a girl who is only 156 meters tall, but she is dressed in a black suit with long pants. Even if she only wears flat shoes, her overall aura is very strong. A dull face paired with a black and straight hairstyle adds a touch of dark lowly vibe. Jiang Nan immediately caught the gloomy face of his own CEO. She put down the freshly brewed coffee, feeling particularly gossipy inside. Looking at Mr. C's appearance, what's up? Has it been urged by the master and wife to get married again? Or have you been entangled by a wealthy woman? Or which business partner is causing obstacles again? No, she is a qualified special assistant and needs to solve problems for her own CEO. So he spoke cautiously, Mr. C, may I ask if there is anything I can help with? After thinking for a while, Zhuyin said, give me your Weibo account. Jiang Nan was a bit confused. Which Weibo? In addition to the president's special assistants for this job, she is an anime homestay girl in her spare time and likes to chase stars. I have specially opened more than 10 Weibo accounts to provide data control and evaluation for 7 or 8 internet celebrities every day. Every account has become a big fan, they are all her beloved treasures. No, she can't give it, she feels heartbroken. Zhuyin took off the Bluetooth earphones from his ear with one hand and said, there's the one with Rabbit Xiaoya. Jiang Nan thought of the beautiful internet celebrity with a beautiful voice and unique singing skills, and her face was full of words. I protest against my unwillingness, I would rather die than give it to you. That's her monthly wife. Zhuyin glanced at her and said, triple annual leave. Jiang Nan's face instantly burst into laughter and he said, alright, isn't it just a Weibo account? My account is a big fan of Sister Yu, and it's a level 12 super talk. While showing off, I kept my account. After using his own phone to log into his account, Zhuyin instructed Jiang Nan, create an identity as a delivery man for me. Jiang Nan thought that his CEO was going to find a new identity and become an undercover agent in the opposite company. He was excited and said, what name should we use this time? Zhang San or Li Si? My real name. Okay, I'll go right away. While Qin Zhiyue was enthusiastically discussing with everyone in her fan group, she received another private message on Weibo. Rabbit Moon Invincible. I can help you and work with you to get married. Then a series of pictures were sent, including ID card, driver's license, work permit, household registration book, degree certificate, property certificate, blood donation certificate. Qin Zhiyue looked dumbfounded. Is her big fan so direct? Open them one by one and look carefully. The name sounds quite nice, it's Zhuyin. The photo on the ID card is even more handsome than those internet celebrities, and Qin Zhiyue stared at it for a long time without taking her eyes off. At the age of 29, my parents are still alive. I graduated from a regular second-tier university and work as a food delivery worker, earning a monthly income of 20,000 to 30,000 yuan. Like Qin Zhiyue, he lives in Haicheng. But he is a local of Haicheng, living with his parents in an old and dilapidated small house in the old city area. The family has 2 bedrooms and 1 living room, and his parents are ordinary employees. Apart from him, who has a delivery motorcycle, there are no other cars at home. She is very familiar with this Weibo account and is her big fan. She often interacts with her, brushes gifts for her, signs in at the Super Talk, and edits her live streaming videos. Weibo account is a woman, why is the person behind it a man? Chapter 3. Spiritual Boy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. And, isn't this delivery guy too curly? Busy running around the city delivering takeout every day, do you still have time to do so much for her? Now that I saw her facing difficulties, I quickly took a photo of my information and sent it to her. It seems to be an activist. From those documents, Qin Zhiyue couldn't tell that there was anything fake. Besides, such a handsome person with her own job, a household registration and a house in Haicheng, what is it to deceive her into being a rural anchor? The other party didn't receive her message and sent another sentence. Recently, my parents are urging me to get married, and I don't have a partner. We can work together. Qin Zhiyue remembered that at the age of 29, he had indeed reached the age of being urged to marry. She quickly replied, so it's like this. Are you in Haicheng? Why don't you go get the certificate right away? You go back to the countryside with me to see your grandmother first, handle my affairs, and then I'll go see your parents with you. She is really anxious. Rabbit Moon Invincible. Sure, see you at the Civil Affairs Bureau. Rabbit Xiaoye. Thank you. Mr. C. Qin Zhiyue moved her household registration when she was in college, and at this time, all the documents in her bag were complete. She quickly said to the driver, Master, could you please take me to the Civil Affairs Bureau? Okay. The driver looked at her in the rearview mirror several times and noticed that her eyebrows and eyes had relaxed slightly. Then he smiled and said, Miss, are you making up with your boyfriend? Ah. Qin Zhiyue didn't keep up with his brain circuit. The driver looked like, I knew it, but I'm not gossiping, and said, you must have been arguing with your boyfriend about leaving this sad city, so you packed your luggage in a hurry and went to the station. But halfway through, your boyfriend messaged you and apologized. You reconciled as usual, so you decided to go get a certificate and get married. Qin Zhiyue couldn't help but feel amused. Have you read too many novels about this driver? I'm too good at brain teasers. But she didn't explain either. At the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau, Qin Zhiyue got off the car. There are often several divorced couples who argue and go in to handle the divorce procedures, but they don't see the figure of that fan. After waiting for more than 10 minutes, Qin Zhiyue felt a bit anxious. I found the other person's phone number from the chat information on Weibo and called them. Hello, the user you dialed is currently unable to answer. Please try dialing again later. I made several phone calls, and all the responses were like this, causing Qin Zhiyue to feel both anxious and confused. What the hell is going on? Is he not coming? At that moment, a homeless man with tattered clothes and messy hair walked over, revealing his uneven yellow teeth and smiling, Miss, are you here to get married? He, marry me. Several flies and mosquitoes were flying on the other party's body, with a foul smell all over them. Qin Zhiyue quickly took a few steps back. Seeing her movements, the homeless man chuckled and walked foolishly towards her direction. His gaze was dull, his mouth was drooling, and he looked like a fool. Qin Zhiyue was frightened and quickly ran to a place with security to make sure that the other party was not chasing after him, before finally letting out a sigh of relief, is that homeless person? That netizen. It shouldn't be, it looks completely different from the one in the photo. Or did she get tricked? How could there be such a person? It's too tasteless to joke about someone else's urgent matter, isn't it? Qin Zhiyue was so angry that her hands trembled. She opened the Weibo chat interface and was about to curse. Suddenly, a loud bang rang out from afar. Looking up, a black motorcycle suddenly rushed over from the other end of the street like a cheetah with unstoppable momentum. The full opening of this aura attracted the attention of those around him and also startled Qin Zhiyue. The first thing that comes to mind for someone who drives a motorcycle with a loud rumble is those energetic guys. But upon closer inspection, the person sitting in the car was not wearing the classic cropped pants and perforated shoes, but rather had a tall figure, wearing a dark blue takeout suit and sneakers, and a helmet of the same color. The person parked the car in front of Qin Zhiyue, took off his helmet, and hung it on the car. I casually straightened my somewhat messy hair, revealing a clear and handsome face. Qin Zhiyue sighed and said, it turns out you're not a spiritual guy. However, upon closer inspection of that face, she couldn't help but sigh, this person is also too handsome. The facial features are sharp and delicate, with elegant eyebrows and eyes, and a porcelain white complexion. When looking at people, the gaze is faint. Qin Zhiyue quickly opened her phone, looked at the photo above, and compared it with the person in front of her. After confirming that it was her wedding partner, she finally breathed a sigh of relief in her heart. Fortunately, the other party is not a scammer. The handsome man parked the car on the roadside, crossed his long legs, got off the motorcycle, pressed the lock, and walked straight to Qin Zhiyue. Qin Zhiyue was afraid that her gaze would be too direct and appear impolite, feeling restrained. Hello, I am Qin Zhiyue. The handsome man nodded politely, and his voice was as cold and indifferent as his own, saying, "Si Hanyu." His clothes are very new, obviously ordinary takeout clothes that can be seen all over the street. Wearing them on him does not have any sense of dusty running around, but instead looks like a supermodel who has just come off the runway. Qin Zhiyue felt like she had made a lot of money with her first marriage partner who was so handsome. "Well, thank you. Let's go inside." Si Hanyu let out a soft and followed her into the Civil Affairs Bureau. There are very few people getting married now, so there is no need to queue up. With the arrangement of the staff, the two of them quickly completed all the procedures. Throughout the entire process, the two had almost no communication. Qin Zhiyue didn't care either. Her thoughts were all on her grandmother, and she wished she could quickly handle everything and go back to town to see her grandmother. After leaving the gate of the Civil Affairs Bureau, Si Hanyu said, "Go directly to the station." This is not a negotiating tone, but Qin Zhiyue doesn't mind either. Following him out, I couldn't help but remind him, "Maybe you need to stay with me in the town for a few days. Why don't you go to your place first and prepare your luggage?" Si Hanyu didn't pay much attention and said, "Your matter is quite urgent. I'll have my friend pack and send the luggage over." "Okay," Qin Zhiyue glanced at his car and said, "So your car. Let my friend drive back." "Okay." A moment of silence until they got into the taxi. The atmosphere between the two remained silent, exuding an awkwardness. Qin Zhiyue felt very strange. "Isn't this person your big fan? Why don't you get excited when you see your idol?" And he also married his idol. If it were her, she would definitely be holding on to her idol and spinning around in circles. Is he a social anxiety disorder? Judging from his cold and talkative appearance, it may really be. After the taxi left, a Maybach drove over from a distance. Jiangnan put down his miniature telescope, but still couldn't slow down. Her CEO usually looks like a suit and leather shoes, exuding a sense of authority from top to bottom. Unexpectedly, the ordinary takeaway outfit that costs tens of yuan now also exudes a sense of sophistication. What's even worse is that the CEO. He actually got married with a certificate. The CEO impersonated her account and went to marry her idol. What is this magically unfolding? Did she have a nightmare? Jiangnan slapped himself and realized it wasn't a dream. His face was so painful. My heart hurts so much. Woo-woo. Her idol, her monthly wife. Now she has become the wife of her boss's famous saying. She hates herself for being a woman and not being able to marry Yu's wife. Wait. How did the CEO know about Tu Xiaoye? Is it possible that the CEO is also a fan of Tu Xiaoye? She suddenly thought of someone and quickly opened the Moyu live streaming platform, found Tu Xiaoye's homepage, and went to see her reward list. Reward points. 674289 reward points for Invincible Rabbit Moon. For 47864, this ranking is based on the amount of rewards given. Jiangnan has been a fan of Tu Xiaoye for more than 3 years, giving rewards every day, but never surpassing the big brother with a comma in front of him. The user nickname of brother comma is always a comma, and his profile picture is taken casually with a blue sky and white clouds. There is nothing special about it, only following Rabbit Xiaoye. Never speak in barrage, never reply to private conversations. This style is so familiar. Is this big shot really the CEO? Do you rarely take the bus? The two of them went to the station to buy tickets, found the corresponding bus, got on the bus, and sat down. Qin Zhiyue asked Si Hanyu next to them. From the moment she bought the ticket to enter the station, she found that Si Hanyu was very unfamiliar with all of this, always observing her movements and the surrounding environment. Chapter 4. Medical Troubles. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Si Hanyu's expression was cold and he said vaguely, "I don't like going out to play." Even if he goes out, he still has a bodyguard driver to pick him up and there is no need to personally handle it. If he wants to go further away, he also has a private plane. But he was afraid of scaring people, so he didn't say anything. Qin Zhiyue didn't think so much, he just thought he was a social anxiety and didn't like going out. Take out your phone, take out a family photo from 7 or 8 years ago, and introduce the family members to Si Hanyu. Throughout the entire process, Si Hanyu remained silent, only occasionally responding with a sentence. The drive is very short, and we will arrive at Qiushui town in 2 hours. This is a relatively backward place, and the local people's attire is not glamorous, even somewhat shabby. So much so that the appearance of Qin Zhiyue and Si Hanyu seemed somewhat out of place. In addition, their stunning appearance and superior physique, as well as their clean and well-dressed clothes, have attracted the attention of many people. But the locals didn't dare to look generously, but instead looked timid and looked up to sneak a few glances, then quickly lowered their heads with a guilty conscience. Si Hanyu ignored those gazes and took Qin Zhiyue's suitcase, following her towards the hospital in the center of the town. Qin Zhiyue felt a bit embarrassed when her luggage was taken away and said, "Thank you." Thinking that he didn't have any luggage yet, she quickly took out her phone and said, "Let's add a WeChat account. I'll send you the address here, and you can ask your friend to send the luggage over." Si Hanyu took out his phone with one hand and opened the WeChat QR code to Qin Zhiyue. Qin Zhiyue glanced at the logo and shape on his phone and couldn't help but sigh. Is this delivery guy's phone too high-end? Surprisingly, it is the latest mobile phone among the top domestic brand VIP. This phone costs at least 30,000 yuan. Upon discovering Qin Zhiyue's scrutinizing gaze, Si Hanyu muttered to herself that she had forgotten to switch to a regular phone. But he just pursed his lips without explaining. Qin Zhiyue scanned the QR code and successfully added WeChat. Then I saw that Si Hanyu's WeChat nickname was a colon, and his avatar was grassland after rain. Is this person's WeChat too casual? After sending her the address, Qin Zhiyue couldn't help but click on his friend's circle. Sure enough, the account, like his people, is extremely cold and socially fearful, with nothing in his social circle. The town is very small, just walk one street to reach the hospital. Unlike other dilapidated places, the hospital is still presentable, with 10 floors high and a spacious courtyard behind it. Tisk, Qin Zhiyue, how did you come back? Just giving me that little money is nothing, it's not enough. Hurry up and give me the money. Also, for your grandmother's sake, we put down our work and came here specially. You need to compensate us. A loud voice of a middle-aged woman rang out. Qin Zhiyue looked up and saw her mother Su Yuling running over from the hospital entrance. Su Yuling was particularly angry when she saw Qin Zhiyue's overly good-looking face and her clean and tidy clothes. Qin Zhiyue, are you having hard wings? After seducing wild men in big cities and earning money, you won't come back. Every time you give so much money, it's not enough to spend it. Qin Zhiyue's face instantly turned cold. She has not yet come out of the complex emotions of, I actually got married to a top handsome guy and had to take him to see his grandmother. Now, when she sees Su Yuling, she habitually feels annoyed. Su Yuling's loud voice attracted many people to watch the play. She couldn't hold her pride and shouted to the people around her, what are you looking at? Be careful not to let the old lady dig out your eyeballs, still looking. Get out of here. Before the people around her could disperse, she grabbed Qin Zhiyue's arm and dragged her into the hospital. Qin Zhiyue wanted to shake off, but unfortunately she didn't have enough strength. She said coldly, Su Yuling, let go of me. Su Yuling was so angry that she turned her head to look at her fiercely, spitting out as she spoke. Qin Zhiyue, do you want to die? I am your biological mother, and you actually call me by name. You don't even recognize your mother. It's a shame that your father and I raised you since we were young. You little white-eyed wolf, you heartless slut. Come with me now. I must teach you a lesson today. What's the point of only giving you 50,000 yuan? It's not enough to fill our teeth. Qin Zhiyue was not afraid and met her gaze, saying, "You got the wrong person. My name is Qin Zhiyue." When she moved her household registration out during her college years, she changed her name. Qin Zhiyue continued, "Also, I was raised by my grandmother and it has nothing to do with you. Before the age of 6, you didn't care about my food and clothing. I didn't have any new clothes, and after the age of 6, my grandmother raised me. When I was admitted to college, you were afraid that I wanted money, so you had already severed ties with me. How come now that I have the ability to make money, you have to recognize me? It's really ridiculous." As she spoke, she followed Su Yuling's strength and pulled inward, then pushed outward. When Su Yuling didn't react, she withdrew her arm. Su Yuling was already strong, but she pushed her so hard that she almost fell. Upon seeing this scene, Si Hanyu's originally slightly furrowed eyebrows relaxed slightly. He had intended to go up and help, but he didn't expect Qin Zhiyue's counterattack to be so powerful, which was completely different from her appearance during her live broadcast. Qin Zhiyue walked towards the elevator. Turning back to Si Hanyu, he said, "I'm sorry, my house is just like this, I made you laugh." "It's okay." Si Hanyu's expression remained faint. "Actually, I checked her situation before deciding to obtain the certificate from her, and I didn't expect the real situation to be even worse." He handed the suitcase to Qin Zhiyue and said, "You go up first, I'll go to the restroom." "Okay, come over by yourself later." Qin Zhiyue was in a hurry to find her grandmother, but didn't wait for him. She gave him the address of the ward and took the elevator upstairs. After seeing the elevator door closed, Si Hanyu took out his phone and called, "I want to report to the police. There is someone causing medical trouble at the central hospital of Qiushui town." Su Yuling saw Qin Zhiyue walking so close to an extraordinary man and wanted to extort money, but she didn't expect the other party to report it to the police. She was so angry that her chubby body was about to pounce and grab the phone from his hand. "Don't forget to say loudly, where did that stinky kid come from? You're that slut's mistress, right? How dare you call the police? Have you eaten the bear's heart and leopard's gall? Believe it or not, I'll scratch your little white face." She was extremely jealous in her heart. Why? Even if Qin Zhiyue had money in a big city, the man she found was still so handsome and tall, knowing how to maintain others, while she spent her days revolving around that ugly and old man. Si Hanyu frowned slightly. Flexibly moving and avoiding, Su Yuling, who couldn't stop her feet, fell firmly to the ground. He spoke coldly and said to the person on the other end of the phone, "Did you hear me? The troublemaker is threatening and humiliating me." The pressure on the man suddenly struck, and Su Yuling was stunned for a moment, afraid to go up again. But due to face saving, she still stubbornly cursed and said, okay, how dare you, a big man, bully me? Aren't you just a stinky delivery guy? Did Qin Zhiyue use all the money she sells to support you? Give her money over quickly." When she was making a scene, the police car arrived at the hospital. In front of everyone, Su Yuling was forcibly controlled and stuffed into a police car. Chapter 5. Getting Married. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the other side. Qin Zhiyue was unaware that Su Yuling had been sent to the police station for education. Before she arrived at the ward, her footsteps slowed down. Previously, Zhou Ting's message caused her to feel anxious and filled her limbs, almost unable to breathe. "Cousin, the doctor said my grandmother is dying soon. She has multiple organ failures and is aging. Even if she is sent to a big city to find a specialist, it won't be useful. She may not have been long. I'm really sorry for my cousin, I don't have the ability to take good care of my grandmother." When Qin Zhiyue walked to the door of the ward, she was a bit scared. She hoped that everything was not true, just a nightmare. After waking up from the dream, her grandmother still had the gentle and cheerful appearance in her memory. A nurse walked over and whispered to her, "Are you a family member of Grandma Qin? Grandma Qin heard that you have come back and has been waiting for you. Cherish your last moments." "Thank you." Qin Zhiyue wiped away the tears that had fallen at an unknown time, took a few deep breaths, pretended to be happy, and gently pushed the door in. Grandma Qin is already 98 years old, with silver white hair and a withered appearance, leaning weakly against the hospital bed. Zhou Ting, dressed in school uniform, sat next to the elderly. When she saw Qin Zhiyue coming, she greeted her and obediently walked out of the ward, leaving space for them. When she saw Qin Zhiyue, Grandma Qin's haggard eyes suddenly filled with light. Her voice was weak, with a smile in her eyes and eyebrows. "Moon has returned. Back, it's really good to be back." Speaking, he extended his thin hand towards Qin Zhiyue's direction. When Qin Zhiyue was not yet born, her cultured grandmother gave her the name, Qin Zhiyue. Unfortunately, when she registered her household, she was changed to Qin Zhiyue by Su Yuling. From childhood to adulthood, others called her Zhao Di, only her grandmother called her Yu Yu. Qin Zhiyue threw down her suitcase and quickly walked up to grab the old man's hand. "I found my grandmother's hands very cold, and she kept rubbing them, suppressing the choking in her voice. She said to Grandma Qin, 'Yes, Grandma, I'm back. I'm sorry, I didn't make a lot of money to help you live a good life. Moon, you. A little girl, lonely and without family support, it's not easy to survive. Be good, Grandma doesn't blame you, as long as you're doing well.'" No matter how hard she endured, Qin Zhiyue still shed tears. Grandma Qin wanted to extend her hand to rub her head like before, but unfortunately, she was weak all over. Her hand, which had just been extended, hung down again. Qin Zhiyue quickly grabbed her hand, lowered her head, and placed her hand on her own head. She forced a smile and said, "Grandma, don't worry. I have already found a partner and he is very kind and caring for me. I didn't originally plan to get married so soon, but I'm afraid. I got married today, and I know you want to see my marriage certificate. I'll show it to you." As she spoke, she flipped out a red notebook from her backpack with one hand and opened it in front of her grandmother. Seeing this, Grandma Qin's eyes became even brighter, as if they were shining again. Her old fingers trembled as she caressed the photo above. In the wedding photo, Qin Zhiyue smiled lightly, while the man beside her was dignified and handsome, with a faint expression. Yu Yu has grown up. Grandma Qin was a bit worried. This young man is so handsome and cold. Will he treat you badly? Grandma, don't worry, I will take good care of Xiaoye. Just then, a clear and melodious voice sounded. At the same time, the ward door was pushed open and Si Hanyu, dressed in a dark blue suit, walked in. The man has wide shoulders and long legs, and his face looks impeccable. When his originally cold eyes looked at Qin Zhiyue, there was a hint of tenderness. Qin Zhiyue was a bit surprised. I don't know if this kid has good acting skills or if he has some genuine feelings revealed. Seeing this scene, Grandma Qin's heart was half relieved. Without Qin Zhiyue's greeting, Si Hanyu walked straight in, lifted the chair against the wall with one hand, and sat down beside her. Even if he sits casually, his posture still appears upright. More than half a head taller than Qin Zhiyue, the two sat together, overlapping with the appearance on the wedding photo. Qin Zhiyue quickly introduced her grandmother, "This is my man. I'm old. Cough cough, my partner, Si Hanyu, he's from Haisher and works as a delivery man in the city." She was too embarrassed to say the words, boyfriend, and husband. Looking at her, Si Hanyu didn't have much emotion in his eyes. Then he turned towards Grandma Qin and nodded politely, "Grandma, just call me Xiaoyu. Don't worry, I will take good care of Xiaoye." After speaking, he looked very affectionate towards Qin Zhiyue and took the initiative to grab her hand. Qin Zhiyue didn't expect such a cold person to have big and warm hands, as if they had played a stabilizing role in people's hearts. She cooperated very well and buttoned her back up, interlocking her fingers with Si Hanyu. "Yeah, Grandma, don't worry, I can do it alone. Besides, now I still have Si Hanyu, you don't have to worry about me." Grandma Qin smiled at their loving appearance and said, "I knew that the moon was so beautiful and excellent, and I would definitely find a good man. Xiaoyu, you can't. You can't bully my family you, otherwise I'll turn into a ghost and I won't let you go." "Don't worry, I won't bully her," said Si Hanyu with a sincere tone. Qin Zhiyue tried to smile and said, "Yes, Grandma. He treats me very well and won't bully me." Grandma Qin felt relieved. The mood relaxed, and the hanging breath began to dissipate. As he spoke, his voice became quieter and he said, "You guys should live a good life in the future. Grandma, when I was as old as you, my child was 3 years old. Do you remember the first time we met your grandfather? Ahem, he was a farmer who helped others cut rice, but ended up getting the wrong land and cutting my own." She rambled on the topic to her grandfather. Due to health reasons, when she said these things, she was a bit confused. When Qin Zhiyue was 2 years old, her grandfather passed away, so she didn't have a deep impression of him. My grandmother accompanied her since childhood, and besides teaching her how to write and recognize characters, she talked most about her grandparents when they were young. Qin Zhiyue has heard these things many times, and she doesn't feel like her grandmother is talking too much. On the contrary, whenever she thinks that her grandmother won't say more in the future, her tears keep falling. Si Hanyu reached out with the other hand, took out a tissue from the table, gently pressed it against her face, wiping away her tears. Qin Zhiyue placed all her thoughts on Grandma Qin, hugging her arm like she did when she was a child, and carefully looked at the familiar face and those enchanting eyes. Grandma Qin's facial features are very three-dimensional, with a hint of beauty on her weathered face, which makes people think that she must have been a great beauty when she was young. In the end, Grandma Qin's voice became increasingly weak, and the light in her eyes gradually extinguished. Chapter 6. Moon Wife. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Grandma Qin's eyes became increasingly blurred, and her vitality was losing. However, she no longer left any regrets and smiled lightly, saying, "It's great. My granddaughter has found a good person at home. Don't worry, don't worry. Old man, I'm coming to find you. You must be in a hurry." Before finishing her sentence, Grandma Qin's hand slipped down from Qin Zhiyue's hand and she completely closed her eyes. She passed away. She was still smiling at the corner of her mouth, and she was very satisfied. Qin Zhiyue was in a panic and quickly went to grab her hand. Her voice was hoarse and choked, "Grandma." She cried uncontrollably, tears streaming down her face as she said, "Grandma. You haven't seen me wearing a wedding dress or having a child yet. No one will call me you again in the future. In the future, I won't have my grandmother hurting me anymore. Grandma." Si Hanyu saw that she was weak all over and almost fell off the chair. He quickly supported her shoulder and let her lean against him. Qin Zhiyue is 172 meters tall and tall. Even if she is held in his arms and her head is resting on his shoulder, she will not appear petite. Previously, Si Hanyu only met Qin Zhiyue in the live broadcast room. She always looks very optimistic, with bright eyes and a clear and clean voice, bringing a lot of joy to her fans. Even if I had investigated her background before I came to marry her, it was just a pile of words on the paper, and Si Hanyu had no feeling. But in the past half-day, Si Hanyu saw her more three-dimensional appearance. Even if their marriage ends in the future, he will definitely help this girl when she needs it. Because Su Yuling was taken to the police station and Qin Tianqiu, the father of Qin, was going to retrieve people, no one came to disturb them. "Grandma, don't worry, I will live very well." Qin Zhiyue leaned against Si Hanyu's arms for a long time before sitting straight again. Glancing at the tears on his shoulder, she felt a bit embarrassed and said, "I'm sorry for dirtying your clothes. I'll help you wash them when you go back." Her voice is hoarse with a strong nasal sound. A overly bright face without makeup, with a touch of simplicity and intelligence, a desolate and sorrowful expression that makes one feel heartbroken. Si Hanyu just said, "It's okay." He doesn't know how to comfort people and is a bit at a loss. Stubbornly handed her the tissue and said, "Grandma hopes you're happy and don't tire out your body." Qin Zhiyue took a tissue and wiped her tears. Strive to calm down and say, "Yes, I still have to prepare for my grandmother's affairs." She stood up and carefully placed Grandma Qin, who was half leaning on the bed, so that she could lie flat. "Grandma's affairs, I can help you," said Si Hanyu seriously. In fact, when Qin Zhiyue gave him the address, he forwarded it to Jiangnan. Jiangnan will bring some people over, so it must have arrived by now. Qin Zhiyue felt a bit embarrassed and said, "You have already helped me a lot. According to the customs in the town, there will be a professional funeral team to handle it. I just need to contact you." In fact, there is no need for Qin Zhiyue to seek help. The news of Grandma Qin's passing has already spread throughout the town. Someone is responsible for taking Grandma Qin's body home and placing it in the coffin, someone is decorating Grandma Qin's lobby as a funeral hall, and someone is in charge of the banquet and list. Qin Zhiyue followed along throughout the journey, negotiating everywhere, and was extremely busy. Grandma Qin's house is a 2-story old house with a yard. Located in a place nestled by mountains and water, with over 10 acres of fertile land in front of the door and a stream beside it, the scenery is extremely beautiful. Due to the funeral, the originally quiet place was particularly lively. Si Hanyu can't help and doesn't like the hustle and bustle. Walk along the green countryside path and come to a deserted tree to enjoy the beautiful scenery around. He took out his phone to contact Jiangnan. Jiangnan has arrived long ago, with many people settling in the largest hotel in the town. After learning about Grandma Qin's situation, she didn't say anything like before. She reported seriously, "Mr. C, I brought lawyer Zhang over, along with 20 bodyguards, 2 chefs, 1 doctor, 10 off-road vehicles, 1 plane." Si Hanyu. He glanced at the bustling town residents not far away and started typing, "Get the plane and the unrelated people back, you and Zhang LV come over, don't be too high. Profile." Lawyer Zhang is a member of the legal department of the Sijia family, specializing in various major criminal cases. Jiangnan had no choice but to arrange and bring along Lawyer Zhang. The two of them changed into regular shirts and pants and left the door. She is the beauty fan of Tu Xiaoya, and finally has the opportunity to see her idol with her own eyes. Qin Zhiyue changed into morning clothes, combed her hair again, and tied it into a neat bun head, busy in the crowd. Seeing Si Hanyu bringing a stranger over, I was somewhat surprised. After washing my hands, I went up to greet him. "Mr. C, are these two?" Si Hanyu casually said, "Friend." Lawyer Zhang was very polite and said kindly, "My name is Zhang Wei, and I am a friend of Si Xiao. He sneaked a few glances at the CEO's takeout outfit and added, "I work at a law firm and that the small company often delivers takeout to me. We've known each other since we've been around for a while." Jiangnan is sweating profusely. "Lawyer Zhang, what are you talking about? What did you just call the CEO for?" "Xiao Si. Can I deliver takeout to you?" "What a big face is it?" But when she found that Si Hanyu's gaze towards Zhang Wei was full of admiration, she realized. Lawyer Zhang is going to get a raise. It seems that this play needs to be played to the end. When Jiangnan turned his gaze to Qin Zhiyue, his eyes lit up instantly. She threw herself into Qin Zhiyue's arms and said, Wife, hold your wife, I'm your fan." After changing into that black suit, Jiangnan lost a strong and capable temperament, and already had a baby face. He was 156 meters tall, like a high school student. Especially when she threw herself into Qin Zhiyue's arms, she only reached Qin Zhiyue's shoulder, appearing even more petite. "I'm your wife's fan, Yu. I didn't expect to see you here. I'm so excited." Zhang Wei, standing beside him, was greatly surprised. I couldn't believe that Jiang Tezu, who is usually swift and decisive, would have such a side. Si Hanyu's gaze fell on the two of them, a bit cold. He is Qin Zhiyue's husband. How could the nickname, wife, be called away by one's subordinates? Qin Zhiyue was a bit confused and said, "Are you also my fan?" Jiang Nan's head rubbed against her arms and said, yes, my name is Jiang Nan." "You're okay, I'm worried about you." Qin Zhiyue had also encountered fans in real life before, both online and offline. Many fans like to call her wife. She can still accept it. Moreover, the other party is still a cute girl. What a coincidence. "You're so cute." Qin Zhiyue secretly glanced at Si Hanyu, who always had a cold face, and suddenly felt that compared to Jiang Nan, Si Hanyu was like a fake fan. Si Hanyu. Why is she looking at me like that? Chapter 7. Not Loving Gossip. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After Jiang Nan had enough, he reluctantly let go and continued to introduce himself. "I'm also a company. Cough cough, a friend of Xiaoxi. I'm just an ordinary worker sitting in the office. Recently, I've been traveling in the neighboring ancient town and found out that Xiaoxi is in Qiushui town, so I came to take a look." Jiang Nan heart. "Humph, I can also make up stories." Qin Zhiyue smiled politely and said to Jiang Nan and Zhang Wei, "Hello, my name is Qin Zhiyue. I'm sorry, my grandmother passed away and she may be busy. You can come and sit in first." Jiang Nan is very familiar with myself and has rolled up his sleeves. "Since we are friends, then everyone is friends. You don't have to treat me as a guest so politely. If you need any help, just let me know." Lawyer Zhang Wei also said, "Yes, you don't need to be so polite." The two of them spontaneously went to pay the ransom first, then helped everywhere, and even went to eat with others. Seeing Qin Zhiyue's emotional distress, Si Hanyu said to her, "Don't worry, they are just like that." Qin Zhiyue whispered, "Thank you all." She took Si Hanyu to the back kitchen. "You've been busy with me all day, haven't you eaten yet? I have someone prepare a meal in the small kitchen." In funeral banquets like this in villages and towns, people will build earthen stoves on the open land to make big pot rice. Although the environment is not very good, there are professional chefs who have been in charge for decades. The food is clean and hygienic, and the variety of dishes is extremely diverse. Qin Zhiyue entered through the side entrance of the lobby with familiarity, passed through the courtyard in the backyard, and led Si Hanyu to the small kitchen. It was the first time that Si Hanyu had entered such an old house, and as he walked, he looked around. The semi-outdoor small kitchen has good lighting and is clean everywhere. There is an old table and stool by the door, with 4 or 5 steaming hot dishes on the table. Si Hanyu was not used to such an environment and hesitated before sitting down. Qin Zhiyue was afraid that he would feel uncomfortable and said, "I still have a lot of things to do. You can eat for now. If you don't like to eat these, you can tell me." After speaking, she had to turn around and leave. But Si Hanyu stopped her and said, "Let's eat together. I don't have an appetite right now, I just want to do something." When a person is particularly sad, they only focus on feeling sad and have no feeling of hunger. Si Hanyu didn't continue to force herself as she looked unhappy. "Okay, remember to eat," he said. Qin Zhiyue responded and turned around to leave. She doesn't want to be idle, because once she's free, she will recall the days when she and her grandmother relied on each other for many years in the past. Now is not the time to be sad, she will be responsible for the smooth funeral these days. After she left, Si Hanyu hesitated for a moment and walked around. Make sure the environment is clean and the food is fine before sitting down. Pick up chopsticks, pick up a piece of fried pork ribs, and eat it in small bites. He has always been very picky about food. Unexpectedly, the dishes cooked by the village teachers were unique and full of a woody aroma, which surprised him a bit. In the evening, Zhou Ting's parents rushed back from out of town. Zhou Ting's mother is Qin Zhiyue, the youngest daughter of Grandma Qin. She didn't see Qin Tianqiu's figure and was very dissatisfied. Where did my brother go? He went gambling again. Why didn't he come to help? That's his biological mother. How could that be like this? Xiaoye, you've worked so hard, busy up and down. Qin Zhiyue really didn't know where Qin Tianqiu and Su Yuling had gone, and their two sons were also nowhere to be seen. Without that family to add to her troubles, she was happy and peaceful. Regardless of them, I can handle it myself. Qin Zhiyue held Qin Zhiyue in his arms with heartache and said regretfully, "It's all my fault. I insist on going to another city to work, and my mother is not around when something happens. When I came to see her last month, her body was still very strong. Why?" Her voice became increasingly choked and she began to cry. Qin Zhiyue was almost provoked to tears by her. "Auntie, stop crying. You made me want to cry again. Don't worry, Grandma was quite happy when she left. She said she wanted to go find her grandfather, and she didn't leave any regrets." After crying for a while, Qin Zhiyue's emotions finally calmed down. She took her husband to give incense to Grandma Qin first, while putting on morning clothes and looking at the handsome guy next to Qin Zhiyue. After eating, Si Hanyu remained by Qin Zhiyue's side, sitting quietly beside her without speaking. However, he did not change into morning clothes. Qin Zhiyue noticed a hint of gossip in her aunt's gaze and quickly went to introduce her to them. "Aunt, this is my friend, Si Hanyu." I also introduced my aunt to Si Hanyu. Si Hanyu doesn't mind her calling it a friend rather than a partner, after all, they are just fake marriages. However, he still followed Qin Zhiyue and called Qin Zhiyue auntie. Qin Zhiyue was not in the mood to continue gossiping and started busy with her husband. Qin Zhiyue secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately her aunt didn't ask much. At night, Zhang Wei and Jiang Nan did not continue to stay. They briefly bid farewell to Qin Zhiyue and said, "We have booked a hotel in the town and will go back first." Qin Zhiyue escorted them to the rural road outside the yard and handed them the red envelope, saying, "Thank you for your help today. Don't be so polite, they are all friends." In fact, they didn't go back to the hotel, but took a turn and took a few bodyguards to camp on the nearby hillside. Although Jiang Nan is a girl, the bodyguards dare not offend her. People who can sit in the position of executive assistant, regardless of gender, are ruthless. There is no nightlife in the village, and it is particularly quiet at night. The air on the half-slope is fresh, and the surrounding vegetation is dense. Looking up, you can see the shining stars. The location here is very good, we can't find them anywhere else, but they can clearly see Grandma Qin's house. The bodyguards were grilling meat nearby, and the air was filled with the aroma of meat. Jiang Nan sat in a recliner, holding a miniature telescope and looking down. "I'm afraid that a person as delicate as the CEO won't be able to survive in the village." On the other hand, Qin Zhiyue also needs to wake up for her grandmother. After all, she and Si Hanyu got married under false pretenses, and she was too embarrassed to let him continue to accompany her. She took Si Hanyu to her room. The room is on the second floor, with open windows and a wide view. You can see fireflies in the fields and distant lights, feeling the fresh breeze near. There are many things in the room, but they are not messy. There are awards and celebrity stickers pasted on the walls and wardrobes, as well as various photos, most of which are photos of Qin Zhiyue and Qin Grandma, as well as photos of Qin Zhiyue when she was a child. On the desk by the window, there are neatly placed books, many of which are about music. The bed is not too big, it is a size of 1.5 meters x 2 meters, and the sheets and bedding are all red with floral patterns, very clean and tidy. The overall layout is very warm and full of the taste of home. Qin Zhiyue said, "There is only one vacant room at home. This is my room, and my grandmother cleans it up every few days. It's very clean. Why don't you stay here tonight? If you don't like it, you can go to a hotel in town." Chapter 8. Her Room. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Si Hanyu, who was used to luxurious suites, was still the first to encounter such a room. After looking around, I found it very clean and warm. That's it here. In fact, he was worried that if something happened to Qin Zhiyue at night, he could arrive in time. Qin Zhiyue returned to the Lingtang to guard the spirit. The guests have all left, and the evening is very quiet. She was dressed in white mourning clothes and knelt in the funeral hall, with a pitch-black coffin in front of her. Her grandmother's kind face was forever fixed on the black and white portrait in front of the coffin. Qin Zhiyue didn't feel afraid. Remembering the little moments of my grandmother and me from childhood to adulthood, I let tears fall quietly. When she was a child, her grandmother used her retirement pension to pay for her tuition fees. She lived very frugally and picked up cardboard boxes or bottles that others didn't want, so she picked them up and saved them up to sell. When I had money, I would buy candy for Qin Zhiyue to eat. Sometimes when I had more money, I would take her to take photos. Qin Tianqiu and his wife spread rumors all day, saying that Qin Zhiyue is an unfilial daughter who beats her parents, steals things, takes bad care of her children, to the extent that everyone isolates her. Even when she goes out to school alone, she throws stones at her. After learning about it, my grandmother didn't step forward to protect her. Instead, she said to her, "Moon, even girls need to be strong. They are all bullies and afraid of the hard. You need to be strong and bravely resist, so that they won't dare to take any advantage of you." Since then, Qin Zhiyue has always brought a long stick with her every time she goes out. She hits whoever bullies her. Even adults who come out to find her to protect their children dare not approach her. From then on, everyone was afraid of her, and due to Grandma Qin's good reputation in the town, they no longer dared to provoke her. Seeing her, they kept a distance from her. When she was a child, she envied other children for having friends. Her grandmother would say to her, "Friends should be made with sincerity. Those friends only know how to bully the weak and don't deserve to be Moon's friends. If Moon gets bored, how about Grandma accompanying you? Grandma is afraid of her loneliness and spends a lot of time playing with her. She has loved singing since childhood. After finishing the homework, I will sing while copying the scores and lyrics from the music book. Grandma won't disturb her, sitting on the lounge chair in the yard, smiling and listening to her singing and fussing. That kind of day was warm and happy, but I can never go back." At the same time, in Qin Zhiyue's room, Si Hanyu just came out of the bathroom in the backyard, wearing a low-key and luxurious home outfit, with silver dark patterns of hibiscus flowers dotted around the collar. His hair was shrouded in mist, and he wiped it with a towel while looking at the things pasted on the wall. From kindergarten to high school, Qin Zhiyue's grades were very good, and the certificate was pasted all over the wall. The name on each certificate is Qin Zhiyue. Si Hanyu frowned. He certainly knows the meaning of this name. Arriving at the wardrobe, it was covered with photos. Qin Zhiyue has been very beautiful from childhood to adulthood, and most of the photos were taken with Grandma Qin. They have a good relationship and laugh happily. Then there is the desk by the window. There is a music book on the table, with many excerpts and diaries of lyrics and music scores. In addition, there are also some singer cards and CDs. Si Hanyu didn't touch her things. After looking around, she turned around and walked downstairs towards the small kitchen. In the Lingtang, Qin Zhiyue knelt in front of the coffin, her back thin and fragile, but she knelt straight and strong. She slowly recalled the bits and pieces of the past, trying to keep all the memories deep in her mind. After an unknown amount of time, footsteps came from the back hall. Qin Zhiyue thought it was her aunt, but when she looked up, she found it to be Si Hanyu. In fact, Si Hanyu had been watching her on the stairs for a long time. At first, he couldn't bear to disturb her mourning for Grandma Qin, and later he couldn't bear to see her so sad side. Si Hanyu had already changed from his dark blue takeout outfit to a light-colored home outfit, holding a tray in his hand. His hair drooped, adding a touch of warmth to his previously cold features, like an overly handsome neighbor. After walking downstairs, he could see more clearly. On that bright and beautiful face, his crying eyes were red and swollen, and his dry and cracked lips made him furrow his brows imperceptibly. Place the tray on the small table next to it, come to Qin Zhiyue's side, grab her arm, pull the person up, take out the tissue from her pocket, and hand it to her. This is not good for your health. He didn't say much, but Qin Zhiyue still saw his concern. I'm fine, I just miss my grandmother, she said with a choked voice. There hasn't been much change in the house here, and she is familiar with every place. Every place has the shadow of her grandmother before she passed away. Si Hanyu pulled her to the low stool next to the small table and asked her to sit down. Let's eat first. After a pause, he added, only when you are full can you have the strength to think. Qin Zhiyue's sad mood was suddenly dispelled by his words. I didn't expect this expressionless delivery man to say such words to comfort himself. I suddenly found him very interesting. Qin Zhiyue obediently sat down and said, thank you. She has been busy for most of the day, so sad that she has no appetite and hasn't eaten anything. Si Hanyu was afraid that she wouldn't be able to endure, so she went to the kitchen to make light egg noodles. His craftsmanship is very good, the noodle soup is clear, the noodles are neatly arranged, the eggs are slightly burnt, round and beautiful, decorated with a few green onions. This plate is very attractive, coupled with the fragrance wafting out, it is very tempting. Qin Zhiyue's body was so sad and numb that she woke up a lot at this moment and finally felt a little hungry. She was pleasantly surprised and said, I didn't expect your cooking skills to be so good. Si Hanyu handed her chopsticks and said, it's okay, you can eat while it's hot. If Jiangnan were here, he would definitely be shocked and scream. What does okay mean? Her CEO has learned from senior chefs from several countries. If the CEO is willing, there is no problem taking the highest level chef certification directly. She hasn't even eaten anything made by the CEO herself. Qin Zhiyue didn't know that. I just thought this delivery man paid more attention to ceremony, that's why he made a bowl of noodles look so beautiful. She took the chopsticks and said, then I won't be polite. She picked up the noodles and put them into her mouth. He made ordinary noodles with a refreshing and bouncy taste, and paired them with soft boiled eggs and small green vegetables, they were simply delicious. After taking several bites in a row, she picked up a bowl and drank the soup. Suddenly, the strong and fragrant warm sensation warmed her stomach all the way down the esophagus. Qin Zhiyue ate very contentedly, not a drop of soup was left. Putting down the empty bowl, I realized that Si Hanyu had been sitting in a nearby chair looking at me. When Si Hanyu looks at people, his eyes are always indifferent. But for some reason, Qin Zhiyue clearly saw his concern for herself in those eyes. She felt a little embarrassed and said, you made it very delicious, thank you. Don't be polite to me. Anyway, thank you all the same. You should go back and rest first. Si Hanyu was tall and slender, especially with long and straight legs. Sitting in a small bamboo chair, he felt a bit aggrieved. Watch her finish eating, hand her a tissue to wipe her mouth, and then leave with an empty bowl and tray. Qin Zhiyue thought he had gone back to sleep. Unexpectedly, after a while, Si Hanyu walked over again. Chapter 9. The big baby got married today. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Si Hanyu was carrying a laptop, with a white woolen jacket draped over her arm. I'll accompany you for a while first. The coat was taken out by Si Hanyu from Qin Zhiyue's wardrobe, afraid that she would get cold in the middle of the night. Qin Zhiyue said, "Thank you. Take the coat and put it on, continue to kneel in front of the coffin, occasionally flicking the wick of the eternal lamp." She was not sure what Si Hanyu was doing with the computer, but thought he was too bored and playing games on the computer, so she didn't disturb him. The lobby has quieted down again. Occasionally, the sound of cicadas can be heard outside the door, accompanied by a summer breeze filled with the smell of candles. Inside the door was the occasional sound of Si Hanyu typing on the keyboard. Si Hanyu placed his laptop on the table, put on Bluetooth earphones, sat upright, and was working. Jiangnan is handling the company's affairs, he just needs to take a look. What's even more troublesome is his family. The family group created by his mother is very lively. Especially today, it's already midnight, and the news keeps spreading. The whole family is in ETA. The group name is Big Boy got married today. Seeing the group name, Si Hanyu was speechless. The previous group name was Did the Cub Get Married Today? This looks like the handwriting of his mischievous mother. The members in the group include Si Yunman and Zhang Hechuan, the parents of Si Hanyu. His mother is the only daughter of the previous generation of the Si family, the heir of the family, and the esteemed Miss Si. My father is the most well-known pianist in the world. He joined the Si family and now his greatest pleasure is being a family cook. They are a loving couple and have been married for over 30 years without any arguments. In addition, he has 3 younger sisters. Si Yue, Si Zhuyin, and Si Haomen. The head of the family. At Si Hanyu, little one, are you married? You didn't tell your mother to me. Who the hell is the head of the family? It's ridiculous. The head of the family's petite husband. At Si Hanyu, that's it. Which girl from that family? Why didn't you tell us? If it weren't for Xiaojiang telling us, we wouldn't have known. Yue. At little Jiaofu of the head of the family, Dad, you're done. Nicknames are too cheesy. You're still playing this game at an old age, I'm not ashamed. The little mistress of the head of the family. At Yue, I'm willing, you can't control it. Si Yue sent out a bunch of white emoticons in a row. Yue. And you at Si Hanyu, brother, do you want to leave your sister? There aren't 3 of our sisters in the fake identity. The unparalleled singing god Si Zhuyin. At Si Hanyu, you really have no conscience. How could you hide your identity from your wife and not tell her that you have a younger sister? How could you make me see your sister in law like this? Forever little sister full. That's right, this big brother can't handle it. He doesn't have a heart. The head of the family. You 3 sisters should keep a low profile. Don't you know your identity? One is the founder of the luxury jewelry brand, the other is the domestic singer god, and the other is Sixiamen. How dare you go to the pickle country to make Edu for me? You are so famous outside, and you will definitely be recognized. My big boy finally has a target. What if you scare him away? The little mistress of the head of the family. That's it. 3 cubs at the unparalleled song god Si Zhuyin, especially you, don't forget that your songs are known all over the street. What if your sister law scares away when she finds out that Xiaoyu has a sister like you? Ultimate song god Si Zhuyin. Humph, Dad, you're a repeater. The forever younger sister is full of. Elder sister and second sister, our 3 sisters are the victims of great injustice. I still want to paste it with my sister law. Yue. It's all because of Big Brother ultimate song god Si Zhuyin. It's all my fault, Big Brother. Forever little sister full of. It's all my fault, Big Brother. Finally, everyone collectively turned their artillery fire towards Si Hanyu, crazily attacking him. How did he meet Qin Zhiyue and suddenly get married? Also, because he had investigated Qin Zhiyue's background and felt that the little girl was very pitiful, he asked him not to be cold all day and to care more about his wife. They are too noisy. Si Hanyu rubbed her eyebrows and withdrew from the group chat. The third floor of the main villa in a manor in Kyoto. The luxurious crystal chandelier hangs down, making the entire piano room shine brightly. The 3 French windows are clear and bright, and you can see the vast manor and the stars in the sky outside. Si Yunman, who was supposed to practice the piano, has long lost interest. She saw the group prompt that Si Hanyu had withdrawn from the group chat and slapped the person around her on the thigh. This stinky kid. Did he even drop me out of the group? There is no one else around her, only Zhang Hechuan. Suppressing the pain in his thighs, Zhang Hechuan hugged his wife and whispered, "My fairy, don't be angry. Anyway, that kid is going to take his wife to see us. We'll settle accounts with him later." "I'm sorry, husband, did I hurt you?" Zhang Hechuan smiled and said, "It's good you didn't hit the piano. The piano is so hard." "Husband, you're so kind to me." Si Yunman hugged him over. I don't know what came to mind, but her well-maintained face showed excitement. "Yeah, husband, I'll free up time tomorrow. Let's take a direct flight to Haishur. I want to see my daughter. Lol. As she spoke, she began to ponder, what would be a good gift to give. The necklace that Yue just designed last week, the blue lover. The red pigeon egg ring. It's not bad, not bad. And it's paired with my best friend's newly launched little dress in France last month. Zhang Hechuan kindly reminded, "Don't forget Xiaojiang's advice, our son plays the role of an ordinary delivery man." "Okay." Si Yunman became even more excited and said, "Isn't that why we also need role-playing? Then I'll have to dress up and you'll come along. We'll have to think of a regular job." The two of them were wearing simple and elegant home clothes. Even though they were in their 50s, they still maintained themselves very young and looked particularly well matched. They discussed and went to the cloakroom to tinker. Unlike the harmonious atmosphere of the Si family, the Qin family at this time was filled with smoke and miasma. Qin Tianxiu's home is a 2-story small Western-style house located on the main street of the town. At this moment, the lobby was filled with a strong smell of smoke and alcohol, and the atmosphere was chaotic. Wine bottles and cigarette butts were everywhere on the table and floor. Qin Tianxiu impatiently took off his shirt, revealing a body full of black and oily fat. His belly was larger than 2 balls, and with his movements, it trembled and trembled. His mother, Qin Zhiyue, that stinky bitch. He smashed an empty wine bottle into the corner of the wall and said, "I almost went to jail because of this. I must kill her." Su Yuling sat next to her, not knowing whether it was because she was angry or because she had drunk, with a plump face that turned red. "Hurry up and marry her out, so as not to run away with any little white face. They have just returned from the police station." During the day, Su Yuling caused a scene in the hospital and was taken to the police station. Originally, it was just ordinary criticism and education, and imprisonment for 1 or 2 days would suffice, but the town was so big that it had already caused a stir. Finally, it reached Qin Tianxiu. At that time, Qin Tianxiu received 50,000 yuan from Qin Zhiyue and was happily gambling at the black casino. When he heard that Su Yuling had an accident, he immediately picked up a kitchen knife and rushed to the police station in a lively manner. Chapter 10. Best Friend Comes. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Qin Tianxiu was almost arrested and imprisoned. In the end, he took out the money he had originally intended to gamble on to redeem himself, so that the two of them could come out smoothly. After returning home, the more they thought, the angrier they became. Qin Tianxiu whispered to Su Yuling, "I remember Wang Motzi never had a wife and really liked us to invite her. Wang Motzi in the town is a notorious leper. I fell ill from a young age, covered in rashes all over my body, and my speech was erratic. Now, I am in my 60s and have not yet found a wife. He has saved up half his life's worth of wife's money, which is as much as 150,000 yuan. The thought of Qin Zhiyue getting married and facing Wang Mozi's disgusting rash, as well as the fact that she could get 150,000 yuan, made Su Yuling tremble with excitement. Old man, Qin Zhiyue is going to wake up the dead old lady these days. Midnight is a good time. Not bad, bring some wine early tomorrow morning and let's go find Wang Mozi. When the time comes, marry Qin Zhiyue and our youngest son will have money to go to college, and we can also find a wife for our eldest son. The old lady is already dead. If we marry off the stinky bitch, then the old lady's inheritance will be ours. The two of them chatted passionately and were extremely excited. Qin Zhiyue had no idea that she was clearly priced overnight. When I woke up, I found myself lying on the bed in the bedroom, with the red floral blanket covering my body. In a daze, I felt like I was back in the old days of relying on my grandmother. As long as she went downstairs, she could eat the cakes or baked sweet potatoes that grandma had fried for her, plus a large bowl of hot millet porridge. However, the funeral music coming from downstairs reminded her of the current situation. With a sigh, he turned his gaze to the bedside table, where the clock had already pointed to 8 o'clock. Suddenly remembering something, Qin Zhiyue quickly got up. First, check the bed and clothes on your body. She was still wearing morning clothes and wore last night's woolen jacket outside. She was the only one in the room, and Si Hanyu was not there, and his suitcase was also missing. She ran downstairs with a clatter as soon as she put on her shoes. If I remember correctly, Mr. C didn't sleep last night, did he? Murmured softly, feeling a bit worried. Last night, Qin Zhiyue was on the vigil, and Si Hanyu was playing computer games with her. After an unknown amount of time, her body grew increasingly tired, and in the end, she fell asleep on the cattail. She slept very restlessly, feeling vaguely that someone was pulling her up and then picking her up horizontally. A male voice whispered in his ear, "I'll help you continue to guard." Then her consciousness completely blurred. How did you wake up the next day? Did Si Hanyu really help her guard all night? After going downstairs, the courtyard was filled with excitement. Some were mourning, some were eating, some were tapping and playing mournful music, and some were busy washing and cooking. She turned around but couldn't find Si Hanyu, only to see Jiangnan and Zhang Wei helping wash vegetables. Qin Zhiyue quickly ran over and asked, "Miss Jiang, Mr. Zhang, have you seen Mr. C?" Jiangnan put the clean vegetables in the basket and smiled, saying, "Sister Yu, don't be so polite. We are all friends, just call me Xiao Jiang, C. Xiaoxi has gone to the hotel to rest. Don't worry, he will come over when he wakes up." She was actually curious about what happened between her CEO and the little girl last night. But she dare not ask. Qin Zhiyue finally felt at ease and said, "I know." She went back to take a shower, put on morning clothes again, and began to get busy. Grandma Qin has a good reputation in the small town, and many people come to offer condolences. As a relative, she is responsible for welcoming her. Auntie Qin Ruoqiu rushed over from her own house early in the morning and felt heartbroken when she saw Qin Zhiyue's dark circles under her eyes. "Xiaoye, why don't you go to bed? Let me handle these things. Today is the weekend, and Zhou Ting will also come to help later." Qin Zhiyue noticed that she also had black circles under her eyes on her face, which seemed to be so sad that she couldn't sleep last night. "Auntie, I'm fine. Actually, I slept for a while." "It seems like you haven't slept well, why don't you go rest for a while?" Qin Ruoqiu couldn't resist her and sighed, "Oh, I'm fine." Before she came here, she went to Qin Tianqiu's house. For some reason, there was no one in the early morning Qin family, and the doors were all locked. I don't know where they went, but no one answered their phone calls. She was well aware of the grudges and grievances between the Qin Tianqiu family and Qin Zhiyue, and did not tell Qin Zhiyue to avoid causing her trouble. Neither of them went to rest in the end, busy welcoming guests together. After lunch, Xiang Yao and her brother Xiangyu, dressed in a black suit, arrived. The two of them paid a ransom at the door together, came in to offer incense to Grandma Qin, and then walked over to chat with Qin Zhiyue. Qin Zhiyue was surprised that these two good friends would drive over. "Thank you for coming to mourn my grandmother." Previously, she had Xiangyu pretend to be her boyfriend in front of her grandmother and often brought them to her house, so they naturally knew the way. Xiang Yao held Qin Zhiyue in her arms and said, "Poor good friend, don't be polite to us. Look at you, you've all lost weight." Speaking, he touched Qin Zhiyue's slightly haggard face with heartache. "Yao Yao, you are so kind to me." Qin Zhiyue sighed as she hugged Xiang Yao. Xiang Yu next to him was unhappy and said, "What about me?" Qin Zhiyue quickly made up for it and said, "Xiao Yu is also very good to me. She is really touched to have such a good friend." Xiang Yu thought of the previous incident and felt a bit sorry. "Sorry, Sister Yu, I got married too early and didn't help you. What's so embarrassing about this?" Qin Zhiyue took them to the backyard and said, "Isn't it good for you to find the right person to get married? I don't know how to hit a mandarin duck with a stick." The backyard is relatively quiet, with tables and chairs. Everyone sits together to drink tea and chat. Thinking of this, Xiang Yao curiously asked, "Sister Yu, have you found a marriage partner yet?" "There's no one else here now," Qin Zhiyue whispered the matter over. Upon hearing that the other person was a handsome delivery guy, Yao's eyes lit up and he said, "How handsome is he? Can I see him?" "Of course." Qin Zhiyue whispered, "Don't tell me about this, after all, we are just faking our marriage. Just treat him as my friend. I know it all." Seeing Qin Zhiyue's dark circles under her eyes so heavy, Xiang Yao felt heartbroken. Quickly took out his carry-on bag, took out a bottle of eye cream, dug out some, and personally wiped Qin Zhiyue. "I ran out of one bottle of this eye cream from the last advertisement I made in a short video. It's very useful. Its icy and cool texture is like cream ice cream, especially against dark circles and eye fatigue." Xiang Yao, like Qin Zhiyue, is also an internet celebrity. The two of them used to work in the same media company, but when their respective accounts became famous, they resigned and went solo. Xiang Yao's face has strong plasticity, and her makeup is constantly changing. In addition, her shared skincare and makeup tips are very useful, so she has many fans. The two often live stream and chat, sometimes chat, and sometimes play games, which fans love to watch. The three of them were chatting happily when footsteps could be heard from outside.